Okay, let's move on to DHCP. What is DHCP? DHCP is a wonderful thing. Back in the old days, when I was an upstart network administrator, DHCP really was not around, or at least the equipment that we were using at my company didn't include it. Now you see it everywhere. So anyway, we used to have to make all our configurations manually, which means we had to sit down at each computer, open up the TCP/IP properties tab, and type in an IP address, type in the DNS server, type in the gateway, type in all these things, and if you made one mistake, that computer didn't work. Or if there was some sort of a problem, like an IP address conflict, you had to go from computer to computer to computer to figure out which computer was causing the problem. Another thing is, if you wanted to make some big global change to your entire network, you had to go to every single computer to make that change, which was a huge pain. So they came up with DHCP, or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. And basically what it is it says right there in the name. It's a protocol which dynamically configures our hosts for us. It's a great thing. Basically what it is you set up a pool of IP addresses that you want to use on your network, and it will give away those IP addresses to computers on the network who need them. And it will do this in such a way that no conflicts will be created. Now you'll remember earlier we were talking about how a MAC address works with DHCP. So basically what happens is a computer gets plugged into a network, or it gets turned on. The first thing it does is it goes off looking for a DHCP server. And it does this by sending out broadcasts saying, hey, I'm a computer, give me an IP address. Are there any DHCP servers out there? The DHCP server will hear this and say, hey, I'm a DHCP server and I've got an IP address for you. Do you want one? The computer says, yes, come on, give me an IP address. The DHCP server says, whoa, not so fast. You need to give me your ID or your MAC address first. Then I'll give you an IP address. So the computer goes, okay, here's my ID. Here's my MAC address. So the DHCP server goes, oh, okay, good. I will record your MAC address and I will make a note in my database saying that this IP address goes with this MAC address. And as long as you need it, only you can have it. Or until someone turns you off, at which point I may or may not give that IP address to someone else. 99.99% of the time, this works flawlessly. The other great thing about DHCP is you can use DHCP not just to configure the computer's IP address, but all sorts of other networking parameters that a computer needs to function on a network, such as the gateway address, DNS address, and of course the DHCP server address. So all in all, DHCP is a wonderful thing. Now, why DHCP is important to you and to me in this lesson is because most home network routers include a DHCP server. And for the most part, it's already set up for you with a pool of addresses and will work automatically as soon as you plug it into the wall. Still, there are things that can be configured with a DHCP server, and it's important to understand the difference between an IP address that was assigned by a DHCP server and an IP address that was assigned manually or statically.